That 10 to 15% dividend yield looks amazing, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to have $1,500 off the $10,000 you invested? I mean, it looks too good to be true, but is it too good to be true? This could be one of the fastest ways for your wealth to get destroyed. In today's video, we're talking about the shocking truth behind high dividend yields and how it can destroy your wealth today. Now, you may be wondering why I'm talking about this. Is because there is a lot of great stocks out there that have lower yields, but there's also a lot of stocks and dividend paying stocks out there that have crazy amount of yields, and people are diving into them without knowing kind of the metrics, the math behind it, or even the ways this could destroy your wealth. Alright, hey guys, my name is Steve, and I run the Frugal Expat website where we try to help people to save more and invest better. And today we're talking about the shocking truth behind high dividend yields. Now let's dive in. Now, first of all, let's talk about what is a dividend trap. Now, a dividend trap sounds exactly what it looks like. It has a great high yield, but under the surface, the company is doing terribly, and it's a trap. It's going to destroy your money. A dividend trap is exactly how it sounds. It is a stock that looks attractive. It is a financial trap waiting to destroy your money. Here is how it works. First of all, you have a stock that has a share price of about $100. It is paid a dividend of about $5 annually, which is a yield of about 5%. Now that is not so bad, is it? So what is the trap right now? So if that $100 continues to go down and down and down until the point where it goes from $100 to $80 to $60 to $40, and still pays that $5 dividends, you're gonna see the dividend not go from 5%, but you're also gonna see the yield jump all the way up to 12.5%. Now what happens there is people are gonna dive into that, and the dividend is gonna become unsustainable for the company. So what they're gonna have to do is they're gonna have to cut the dividend, and that's gonna drive the stock price down even further, and then they're gonna cut it again and again and again until the dividend is around $0, and the stock price has crashed so low that you've probably lost about anywhere between 60 to 80% of your money. Now this sounds quite terribly, right? Yeah. I mean, to me, when I see that money has lost anywhere between 60 to 80%, that is terrible, and you have invested in a dividend trap. Now, a dividend fallacy, on the other hand, is what most people are thinking about. They're thinking, first of all, high dividend paying stocks are great to own because you are getting a good income. Now, that is a fallacy because possibly these companies aren't very good, financially stable. Now, a good company you may look at is like one that's XYZ that has stable income and it's got a good dividend. Let's say the stock price is sitting at about $50 and it's paying a $2 dividend. Now, the fallacy is going to be higher dividend paying companies are better than lower dividend paying companies. And we have seen this before. We can see that, if we compare growth stocks versus dividend stocks are going to be those that are more stable usually, and they're paying some monthly dividends, and we can continue to increase our portfolio and create all that dividend income. But in the long run, maybe the growth stocks are probably going to outperform and do better. And we can see those with dividend ETFs versus growth ETFs. QQQ is going to do much better than SEHD. And a lot of people are trying to dive into ETFs like FDVV and DGRO because they have growth plus a dividend yield. Now you can just add a growth ETF and add a dividend ETF and you can do the same thing. But this is the fallacy, is people are chasing some of those high returns and high dividend yields. And so the fallacy is that thinking that, those companies that are paying high dividend yields are much better than those that are paying lower yields. Now I've got an example to show you. Let's say one company has a $50 stock price and a $1.50 annual dividend, which is at about 3% yield. Now, the next company has a $20 share price with a $2 annual dividend. Now, that is a 10% yield. Now, if we look at this, the one company that has the $50 share price continues to grow and grow, and it continues to grow that dividend yield. Now, the dividend yield is still sitting at 2%, but the other company company share price continues to fall and fall while the yield continues to grow. At some point, company B is going to crash and burn and you're going to lose all your money. Company A is going to continue to grow. You're going to continue to see more and more dividend yield. So those are kind of the example. You got one company that's financially good and it continues to grow its dividend, it continues to grow, while you got company B, which is not financially good and it's got some bad metrics and it continues to grow that dividend yield percentage, but it's not doing so well. Now I've got some real world examples to show you guys of companies that's happened and people have lost a lot of money. I have invested in one of these companies, so let's get to those companies. One of those best companies that's been around for a very long time was GE, General Electric. Now for 25 plus years, they were considered a dividend aristocrat. They had increased their dividend yield year upon year until the point where, well, they crashed and burned. In 2007, GE had a stock of about $40 per share with a dividend yield of about 3.1%, which was about $1.24 on annual dividend. So that looks pretty good. Now people started coming in, but then all of a sudden 2008 happened. The financial crash happened. What happened to the share price is it dived to about $20 a share while the dividend yield bumped up to about 6%. People dived in because it had a high dividend yield and that was good news for them. They were thinking it's going to continue to go and, well, like I said, the financial crisis happened. In 2009, the dividend went from $1.24 down to 40 cents. The stock price crashed even harder into the single digits. In 2017, it cut its dividend again. In 2018, it cut its dividend down to 4 cents a share. And then in 2020, it cut its dividend to 0. So what happened was if you were to invest $10,000 into GE in 2007, getting that 3.1% dividend yield, you would have lost anywhere from 70 to 80% of the value of your money just by investing into this stock. That is crazy to think about. Because they saw the 6% dividend yield, they jumped in and it just never recovered. Another company, the one I invested in, was AT&T or T. Now AT&T or T would have been kind of a safe dividend trap. I looked at it, it was like, oh, $30 a share price, and it's returning anywhere between 5 to 6%. That looked amazing, and it was continuing to grow its dividend year upon year. So I thought, this is a good stock to kind of buy and hold and to have a good dividend yield. Now, after a couple years, I realized the share price wasn't increasing so much, so I got rid of the stock because I didn't see any growth in it. All I saw was the dividend yield just kept on going, and this was seen as some investors could see it now. Now we fast forward to today, and we see that AT&T or T did not do well, and things got bad. So from 2016 to 2021, what happened with T stock was T or AT&T maintained its annual dividend of about $2.08, which was good news for those investors that kept the stock. Now, what happened was the stock started to fell into the 20s, and then the yield started to jump up to about 7%. In 2021, it cut its dividend in half by about 47% to about $1.11. Now, when that happens, it's a huge red flag to the market. The stock price continued to fall into the teens. And so you're talking about when I bought it, it was about $30, but I sold it around $30. If I would have kept it, that money would have probably dropped in half. And I would have lost more money if I would have kept this dividend yield in this dividend ETF. So that's something to think about. Now, how do we protect our portfolios from some of these dividend traps? There are a couple of red flags to look out for. First of all, is the abnormally high dividend yield. Now this is one that's reaching anywhere between 8 to 10%. That means there's something wrong financially with this company. It's not growing its stock price, but the yield is jumping up really crazily. So there's something that's gonna happen. Red flag number 2 is declining business fundamentals. Things are not happening well. Revenue is shrinking, they're losing market share. Everything's declining in this company, so there's some red flags to look out for. Red flag number 3 is the payout ratio is increasing. So a company that has a payout ratio of anywhere between 0 to 50% is pretty good. I mean, they have enough money to kind of cover everything. Now, when that payout ratio is starting to bump up from 60 to 80%, that means they're paying out way more than they should be, and there's some red flags going on with this company. Another red flag could be that there's some market disruption. If you look at some retailers and all of a sudden Amazon comes out and then they're crushing the market, well, that could be a red flag. A couple ways you can protect your portfolio is don't put too much of your money or all your eggs in one basket. I mean, diversification is helpful when you're looking at a good dividend portfolio. Secondly is focus on quality of companies. Like Coca-Cola is pretty quality, McDonald's has got a pretty good market share, and you have some great ones like Walmart, you have Procter & Gamble. Some of these companies are very good in quality and they're very diverse in their market caps. So you are looking for a good diverse portfolio of different companies that can keep a stable portfolio. And another one is to invest into some dividend ETFs. I like dividend ETFs because I think it's a simple way to have a good dividend portfolio, and these companies and these ETFs are creating good portfolios full of companies, and so when one company may fall out, another company may go in. So that's a great way to kind of diversify and have a good dividend yield with your portfolio, is use dividend ETFs. If you really want to avoid most of these dividend yield traps, my suggestion is just to have a good portfolio full of some great dividend ETFs to make it simple and easy for everyone. I mean, some great dividend ETFs that you could be investing with is SEHD, DGRO, FDVV, you can look at HDV, SPYD, and some other great dividend ETFs out there like VYM or even VIG. These are some dividend ETFs out there that can make your portfolio safe, resistant to some of those dividend yield traps, and a great way to build your portfolio. Now, some people may want to look at some great portfolios to kind of help them out, and I've got a couple of those that you could possibly do. Now, you may be not close to retirement, maybe you're a little bit younger, so you may want a little bit of a broad market like a VTI and then a QQQ, a part of that. And then you can add like maybe an SEHD, a VYM, a DGRO into that portfolio to give you a good 3-fund portfolio. Now, if you're getting closer to retirement, you may want to cut out some of those growth and kind of turn that into more dividends. You could have still a core, maybe VOO or VTI as a broad market. You could have a SEHD and a DGRO. And if you wanted some more income creating ETFs to add to that portfolio, you can have a QQQI or an SPYI that can give you some monthly dividends, and it could also be a little bit of a diversification part of your portfolio. If you wanted some international exposure, VYMI is a great international ETF, as in it's a dividend ETF that does about 3.5 to 4% dividend yields. So those are some great ETFs that you could create a great dividend portfolio to help you avoid these dividend yield traps. Now, I don't know about you, but right now I'm sitting at age 38, so I am not really focused on those dividends. But I know a lot of young people that are focused on dividends. So here's the thing that I want to know. Do you invest in dividend stocks? Do you prefer dividend ETFs? Personally, I prefer dividend ETFs because I like the simple approach of buying one ETF that can give me a whole bunch of different stocks and companies, and to avoid some of those dividend yield traps. So let me know in the comments, do you like dividend ETFs? Do you like dividend stocks? Have you fallen for some of those yield traps? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to learn a little bit more about growth investing versus dividend investing, check out my last video on growth versus dividend investing. And I'll see you guys in my next video.